Yo guys, Theo here on Common Sense. If you're wondering about this nice and shiny shirt I'm wearing, it's a front squat shirt that I just got because when you do the front squat, the upper back is involved to a big extent. So when that starts fatiguing, you can kind of start falling forward and eventually drop the bar. But I've been feeling like I've been dropping the bar sometimes earlier than I should, just because the shoulders get sweaty and slippery. So hopefully this rubber enhanced shirt will make me push it just a little bit further without dropping the bar. Preferably, I don't drop the bar at all. But so, today we're going to be talking about why I am giga bulking. So let's define that. Bulking is, of course, eating in a calorie surplus as a means of fueling progress in the gym, specifically when it comes to getting stronger and building muscle. And you can do this on kind of a small calorie surplus, and then of course a giga bulk would be a bigger surplus. And this is not to be confused with a dirty bulk. Well, I mean, some people, I guess, would refer to what I'm doing as dirty bulking, because some people just call eating more than you have to in order to put on muscle dirty bulking, but a lot of people would mean just, eating a bunch of junk, just eating whatever just to get really high calories. And so I'm gonna talk about how I'm doing it and why. So I recently put out a video that's called Main Gaining, like Greg Doucette is dumb or stupid or whatever I call it. But main gaining is basically when you try to put on muscle without putting on any body fat at all at the same time. And a related term is a recomp, meaning actually burning fat at the same time as you build muscle. And I talked about how this is not good advice to just give generally, like this is how you, whoever you are, should be approaching building muscle, because it's only applicable to certain individuals, mainly beginners that are really, really new to lifting, or someone that has a lot of extra body fat. It will be easier for the body to make up missing calories from your own body fat when you're eating in a calorie deficit. And so I recommended there that for everyone at a certain point, when you're past that novice stage in the gym, like you made newbie gains, you made gains for a little bit more, and you're starting to approach like intermediate territory, well, then is when, some people would still be able to recomp or main gain or whatever, but at that point it would be more optimal for everyone to be in a calorie surplus. Because when we want to build muscle, we try to put the body in a state of abundance. The body, your maintenance calories are for bodily functions, just keeping you going, keeping you working, and if you don't get enough, it's not, depending on who you are, of course, but it's very likely that the body is just not gonna deem that you have enough energy to build more muscle than you currently have. So a calorie surplus, boom, you put yourself in a state of abundance, and the body can use those extra calories to build muscle. And so when you're bulking, even if you're doing it on a small surplus, like what I recommended in that video, like a 200 to 300 calorie surplus, well, you're still going to put on a little bit of fat, and that I talked about in that video, because it's both women who are just afraid of getting too big or bulky or whatever. They're afraid to eat and they don't really make any progress in the gym, but also guys who ended up kind of lean. They have their abs and they get kind of married to it, so they kind of keep restricting calories too much. Well, I said that just go on that small surplus and you put on fat very, very slowly, and yeah, it's not going to ruin your aesthetics just immediately. And then at a certain point, you just cut. And then you start doing the lean bulk, 200-300 calories again. But why I specifically choose to take another approach that I wouldn't recommend it generally. Again, it depends so much on who you are and your goals and stuff. But I'm going to tell you why I am choosing to eat in a bigger surplus. So, first of all, I don't really count calories. It's just that I've been into this for so long, the fitness, the bulking and cutting and stuff, and I eat basically the same things most of the time. So I'm just kind of, without even trying to count, I kind of have a pretty good idea of how much I'm eating. And so I would guess that on average I eat like 3,500 to 4,000 calories right now, which is a lot considering I basically don't eat any junk at all. I've been open to the idea to add in something that, not pure junk, but have a pizza or something every now and then, just to get a little relief from eating all this clean food, all the rice and beef, that the majority of my calories come from. But to be honest, it hasn't barely happened so far. But I would guess, so 3,500 to 4,000 calories ish. Let's say then 3,750 calories on average. And I'm guessing my maintenance calories right now is just north of 3,000 calories. The funny thing is I'm bigger, so you use more energy just, walking, weighing 88 kilos, like I basically weigh now, compared to doing that when you weigh 10 kilos less. Of course, you burn more per step because you're moving around more weight, but I've actually also, as a means of like lowering my energy expenditure, I'm actively not walking as much right now. But so let's say I end up in, what could it be? 500 to 750 calorie surplus or something, on an average. And the reason I do this is because, well, it's not that just the more you eat, the more muscle you're gonna build. It doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, you can't just, slam 10,000 calories a day and then make a year's worth of gains in 3 months. Unfortunately, it might be the case that it's some like optimal, if we're talking how much muscle you could, to put on as much muscle as fast as possible. It might be the case that you could put on slightly more, eating a little bigger surplus than 200 to 300 calories. But I'm just speculating now. That's not even for certain. The main idea for me is I actually want to gain a bit more fat, and it's for several reasons. It's one thing is. Just having more, just not being as lean, it's injury prevention. Many lifters, experienced lifters, when they hurt themselves, like if it isn't something like, I don't know, a power lifter going for a huge PR or something and end up something snaps, but many times people injure themselves when they are kind of cut, when they're lean, because you're just not, your joints aren't as protected from the fat. You actually get a little like extra padding from yourself, from your own body fat. So as I am training now, bulking, trying to, well, putting on muscle is of course the goal in the end. I will be cutting after this, but I actually, because I will be pushing progress on big compound exercises really hard, I like to have this extra just cushioning from the fat, injury prevention wise. Like I have an injury that I had already going into this bulk in my hamstring or hip. It's in a few other areas there too. But everything else from eating this much, I feel I recover so well. I don't feel like anything is like near being worn out. So it's that too, I guess. It's not just injury prevention, but the extra energy will allow. I will never have too little energy to recover properly, if you see what I'm saying. So these are like the main reasons, really. I also just kind of think, I experiment a lot on this channel. A bunch of things that I've done with some fast and stuff. I wouldn't, if I didn't put out content or was a like educator, a content creator like this, many things I probably would not have done, like dry fasting. I don't know if I would have ever tried that if I did. Now I'm actually considering one after this bulk. But yeah, I'm saying I'm doing some experimental things, and so now I just realized at the start of this bulk that hey, I might actually be able to get to 90 kilos, which is far heavier than I have ever weighed, and so it's just a little fun thing like that. I think I'll manage to. It's getting hard with all the clean foods. Without eating junk, it's hard to get there, but I think I can. But so the last part is, of course, that I enjoy prolonged fasting, not only as a cutting tool. Yes, like I will use it for cutting to some extent for myself and with most clients that I have that I work with. But there's so many things that I get out of fasting, just spiritual things. Like, to be honest, right now I'm kind of on a dopamine low since I was sick. I just feel kind of unmotivated and like, And I know that a fast would very often just bring me right out of that, but unfortunately it would interfere with this bulk too much, so I can't do it now. But since I like to train hard and I like staying quite lean most of the time, I just can't always be fasting how much I want to, because it wouldn't work. I wouldn't have enough fat to eat from. I call body fat food in the fridge, food that you eat when you're fasting, and also I wouldn't be able to train as often and as hard as I would want to if I kept doing the fasting when I'm that lean. But so, bulking up like this, I have the other reasons for doing it that I mentioned for you, in injury prevention and making sure recovery is on point. But I'm also like storing up for a phase where I will be cutting, but I will also do like of course it will happen either way. If I fast, I will lose weight either way, but it's actually like I'm putting food in the fridge for being able to fast a little bit more often at some point. So see, it kind of coincides that yeah, fasting will be part of my cutting, but I've actually put on fat so that I can cut with the fasting. So yeah, it's also, of course, I have at this point. It's so I know that I can cut always, even when I started doing prolonged fasting and took some time away from it for a few months, and then was going to go back to trying it. I was afraid that it's going to be difficult now because I've not done it in a long time, but at this point I just have full control over how I eat, so just because I'm saying this because I'm again not necessarily recommending this, I'm just telling you what I do and why. But you should not take this approach. If it was hard for you to get lean, you should stick with a lean bulk. I mean, that was still the reasons. A lean bulk, it will still, you will put on a little bit of fat, you'll get that cushioning I'm talking about, and you are in a surplus, it will allow for better recovery. It's just that I'm like making extra sure that this happens, But if you have a hard time cutting, then this is not the way to go. I'm blessed at this point with the ability to just, when I want to, I just cut, So I would not be doing this if it was really hard for me to get that lean. I'm gonna do more videos about bulking, like who should bulk, how should you bulk, and stuff like that. And also, speaking of it, how to stay shredded easily, the uncommon sense way, because well, it's much tougher for me. I have to put in much more effort to put on fat like I'm doing now than just staying lean. So maybe you want to learn more about that. But so yeah, that's it, guys. Please leave a comment. What did you think? Are you bulking? Are you main gaining? Let me know. And please like the video. All comments and likes help support the channel, so it's very much appreciated. Please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, natural bodybuilding, losing weight, uncommon sense takes on, well, a bunch of different things. Okay, guys, I'll see you later. Peace.